That's the thing, they made this start recording before the meeting starts. So all the little, we pick up on all the little things maybe we should. Good point. Let's fit this. Um, hey, Mr. Reed.
Hey, Sal, how you doing?
Oh, it says
There you
webinar.
go. We just don't have anybody in the audience.
I thought Chapinski Humes was going to.
Maybe they're not here yet.
Yeah. He is late. He is late.
Gladly, would you like to? Take the current record.
Um,
The back.
there's plenty of,
Sure.
any,
Don't stare at my boss, please.
All right, whenever you're ready, please. All right. Thank you.
okay, it says it's recording and I thought that Brian Humes was gonna come on Zoom.
The next things for special. Second, all in favor? Aye. For the opposed comments? And we will on to minutes from a regular meeting on May 8th. Motion to approve. Second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed comments? Any citizens? So. Other than, no. Half the guys, are citizens, they get work, part of the fabric. All right, 240 Kensington Road update.
Brian,
Oh, yeah.
well, we haven't enjoyed, we can start to discuss it.
Or you can change the order of your
Yeah,
agenda.
you wanna,
All right, on that. Motion and all in. Just put it down to move on to Board of Ed elementary school. Yep. Actually, move everything. The 5 to 5. Look at later. Big motion to jump to item number 5. Whatever, forward. Second. All in favor? Yeah. Move it side out. That's fine. Anyhow, Board of Ed, elementary school. Okay.
Brian, if you could just give a little, where we are with Willard,
Right.
okay? I'll collect my thoughts and Doug and I tag you.
Move up with them though.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so when it comes to Willard, we're down to really three things: commissioning, close out, and then closing out all the financials. Commissioning wise, everything has been tested to 100% tested. There's 31 open issues right now. 19 of them have already been corrected, responded to by Allstate and their vendors. They're in the commissioning agents court. 3 of them are related to the site, which important Allstate. I'll get an update on that. So let's see. There's some follow-up with some commissioning head bills, balance of the reports, right? Patrick's working through. As far as the closeout, Allstate has everything in hand that they just received, the tested announcement of the board, late last night. They've given drafts to you, I believe. Right now, any comments or anything before we have to finalize them, we'll submit them. Once we got them, okay, yeah, just, even if it's after, I'm sure. So let's see, after the remaining opening commissioning items are complete, which hopefully in the next couple of weeks, everything will be turned into one packet. Close out. Will be done. On the financial side of things, we're basically billed out, CA position. If you guys remember, we carried a 200-hour premium allowance, which wasn't used, so we're ready to back $29,075. Allstate side of things, they're 96% billed. Majority of their submittals are done, start of the machine's done. Everything else. They haven't billed any closeout or training yet, since we're still going through it. You probably anticipate that this month. Then, other good news with them, there were some allowances that we carried in the fall. Patrick's worked with them to come to a number that we're both agreement with. We're going to be getting a credit back from Allstate for $113,370. So that's really where we're at. Pretty much on home search for a couple of weeks. should be turned in. We'll work with the commissioning agent, make sure there's no items.
And we know they're close out sometimes. It just, but everything's working, you know?
Yes,
That's the AC is on, all that stuff is in, so we really just like to close out, yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
Like the balance.
we know it's important to get this. They have it, we're waiting to see if you got any comments, if you don't, let us know, we'll get everything taken, but the issue to resolve. The school on any items.
Whatever happened with that noise that they had, was that all taken care of?
They did talk about
Oh,
it.
yeah?
Well-
Yeah. So that we won't see the bill for probably maybe another couple of cycles. If you really have to close everything out with that financially, I'll let you're almost
Yeah,
there.
on our end, so June's billing, verification credit, 1,000 change. Allstate, I'll check with that, if they're at a point where we can put that credit back and it's not, credit billing to you guys, which didn't come to us. As long as there's an add something to them, let's just get it out of the, get it back, so.
Sounds good. I've not been to the board for a while, so I'm gonna use Doug and balance. Contract. Sounds good. Question, back.
I have none. Anybody have any control side, any issues there? You with that?
There's some working through on the portal, here, portals, about behind the sequence, but they haven't worked out, but very small. There was a well, community set point, something about free stat, but they re-verified that.
So I just need something from you in balance or getting the school's working to the performance that it was. Something like that today, I'm sure we can sign off on it. We're all in agreement. I don't want to.
Everybody was kind of learning the temperature range.
Yeah.
The CFM of the indoor units is a little higher, so the acoustics of that, been able to, some staff getting used to it.
So the building's staying positive. Right. There's overpressurized.
Pressure, there was a couple of items with the pressure inverts that they were loaded in the portal. The way they were sealing and the position of the invert, the relation to where it showed. So, a couple little items, but not overall, not a global issue, but there's a couple of individual faster. We haven't heard any, negative there, we're pulling or speaking
All of
positive
it,
pressure.
yeah, that's what I want to make sure. We're saying positive possibility.
Everything was good through the town report, spoke with their balancers. Also, yeah, so everything's pretty much right by design.
Sounds good, thank you.
Does someone from the Willard staff, janitorial staff get trained on this or all?
It's really the town staff, the custodians are briefed on, go review the system, just so you know, emergency shut off, valve, that. But if they have a great, teachers will call the custodian, the principal, and we'll hear about it. Like adjustments and stuff. Everybody's been pretty good with it.
All right, and I guess we have some invoices for that. First one is, Newfield. Truck management services, $18,601.50 after payment.
Okay.
Second, in favor?
Aye.
Then we have, Allstate. $37,183.
Well,
Balance with leave plus retainage, 200, round up to 46,000, 45,987.
there you go.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
And an invoice from SES. Doug's attention, with Willard, for $750 for fishing services.
Yeah, we were done, Doug.
$1,500, $750 remaining.
They get 95% on the bill, so it's about, just paperwork, not.
You got the money for it.
They got it.
Take the money quick, right?
Tested and retested.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then we have Two invoices from Fryer, one in each. Griswold covered. Griswold is $1,590. All in favor? Aye.
I'm sorry, I was making a copy. Who was the motion? Thank you.
It's from Fryer covered for $1,350.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Excellent.
Well, we're still in the elementary school, because some of our people are covered. Well, it's, so you did the invoices for Willard, the benefit Willard. Ed,
I thought that was later on, but if you want to speak now.
we can do that,
No.
yeah, it's all part of the same, it's all part of the same project, unfortunately. So we did, we had 6 bid openings on the new online portal. And I put a summary of the contingencies. I just thought that would be helpful for us. To review. It's like email that was sent out literally probably half an hour ago. But I think you guys can see that actually the low bid amounts pretty much, and the contingencies that are built into each, basically in the form of allowances. So the first, I guess, and I also made copies of the contractor bids because they're the most interesting to look at. Or as prices and the allowances. So for Griswold, Allstate did Willard, is a parallel bidder at 4.4 million. There's an allowance of almost $300,000 and it's almost 7%. And we went through the packages, both bidders submitted all their qual packs and all the other information that was requested. So there were 2 bids, State Farm and Allstate. So Allstate was low bidder on Griswold, and Save More was a low bidder on Hubbard at 4.2 million, with allowance at 665,000, which is really driven by some high unit costs on their bid. Which, like for example, 4-inch wall base at $130 a foot. What do you think, Brian? Is that a little high?
Yeah.
So, but that was in the
That's a big discrepancy. I mean, I know we're 3 different schools, but no.
Yeah, the numbers
Yeah.
are tight overall, yeah. Allstate had they had, I think, 13 bucks or something, 13 bucks for that, but so there's some mixing and matching of how the bidders spread the money around.
Well, if they're, and I didn't get a chance to see it, but the difference between the allowances and agency is sort of $1 million. So the thing the contractor covered is counting on spending $10 million, but having their initial like bid something low.
They're spending something, they're doing, and Brian, maybe you could weigh in on how these bidders look at the unit cost aspect of proposal forms, but it's kind of a game.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I will say, you guys are familiar with Allstate. They've been through it.
Yep.
We were as surprised as you guys were that they didn't offer a combination bid for both schools.
Yeah,
Do they not, maybe they don't have a staff though.
They do have a lot of work.
Yeah.
So we have 4 of these going on in Norwalk right now, which we tried to get them down there. And they said they couldn't. They wanted to focus on these and some other stuff.
Well, I appreciate somebody that says,
So-
I'm too busy, I don't want to take the job.
Yeah, so that very well may have been the case. I mean, the fact that they are only, $50,000 to $70,000 apart on both schools tells you, I mean, the numbers were tight. I think you feel confident in both bidders. Look, Savmore doesn't know the program, Allstate does. Are they playing games? Not necessarily.
You have any experience with them?
Yeah, we've used them both on projects, no problem with either one of them. The only thing I would say is from a, I mean, the only thing I would say is from a, I mean, the only thing I would say is from a, 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 from overall perspective, not just because they've been here, but Allstate has the capability to do much more of the work in-house. They have their own civil guys, they have their own equipment, whereas Savmore's probably gonna subcontract some of that out. So I'm surprised he's a little bit lower. But that being said, they're both more than capable of doing it, so. No, our service is
Yeah,
ended.
they're, it's the favor comment. So, no, that was a question for one. Ask them about, what's that?
Different question, and relative to the unit prices, I mean, and just seeing how some of the items are very different. I mean, is there any likelihood that something is gonna, the quantity is gonna go very high on something? Or disappear entirely? I mean, I'm looking at, say, more, offsite disposal of natural soil at $650 a ton. Versus whatever, $39 a ton. That's, I mean, 650 is not far from like the end, they moved the end there. No, that's.
But that would again be above and beyond what's.
Yeah,
you know,
so that's what I'm saying, hopefully we don't have.
What I will say is you have the ability to negotiate the unit price prior to getting into contract. If we were signed up doing this for you,
Yep.
we would do the same thing because you only got 2 bids, but let's say you got 5 bids. We put together a leveling sheet that has everyone's unit prices and then we put the average. And that's something we would focus on in a scope review. We would say, well, hey, you're out in left field here with the contaminated removal. Like, are you sure you got that right? Because the average was X. They may not budge. You don't have to accept it. You can say, hey, we're not going to accept these unit prices.
Yep.
You roll the dice and then you deal with it in a change condition later. You don't have the unit price to fall back on, but you're not stuck to $600, So that's an option. You could try to negotiate the unit price with them, or you could opt to just not take it. You have the benefit of knowing what other competitors are, that's a reasonable price for removal for that type of work. So you have that benefit now. And you could negotiate it, or you could just deal with it via change order later and negotiate the unit price then.
Well, it's almost the same on contaminated.
Yeah, maybe just that.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah, it's the one that jumped out.
but I just.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, I also seem more, reasonable. The cost for, like, smoke saving, they're like probably half. Like if you're, if person say, we're only drawing this year, or like. Well, pipes and stuff like that.
Well, say that.
Yeah, they had full design drawing. Full type, plan, all the detail that we put there.
To your point before, Allstate has hands-on experience. Not that this is.
Yeah.
Exactly like, but it's pretty close.
Pretty close. Spend ceiling, all
Yeah,
the
yeah.
school, they know what they're
Think
managing.
people are gonna talk to, think about it, so that.
Exterior chili on with clay that they're gonna pick it up.
Mhm.
Get it, so.
So, but, we're pretty tight on looking at allowance. Yeah,
Yeah, if I recall, they were given the parameters and the information and told to carry an allowance of X.
Yeah.
Allstate probably has the benefit of doing it, gone through it with your department, and they understand what's really required. Savemore may not, maybe they're covering themselves. Now, if you don't use it, you're gonna get much more back.
Right.
But
right, but
that doesn't help you
everybody
now.
else, the lights that are up there, the allowance. It's like
Yeah.
sort of ours to spec.
Mhm.
It's up to us to have. To watch out.
Well, the allowance is out of the number.
Right. Is that something we can go back to them on and say, hey, your allowance is way out of whack? Historically, from other people we've seen bid on other stuff? Or will they say, look, it's specific to the project? They got it.
They're probably gonna say it's specific. I mean, you have the option to not accept the allowances either, and you could pay as you go.
Yeah.
Wouldn't recommend that.
But is the, yeah.
You know, you're having that pool of money now and knowing what it is and being comfortable with it. So I guess my question would be, is control the amount.
That's what I'm saying. It's up to us to not get talked into doing it.
Mhm. So,
But we've all seen contract allowances, think that they're the license to the spectacle of the
yeah,
big issue. And I know nothing about stuff.
Yeah.
So,
I will say, not having seen the bids, I've only heard, you know, the general numbers. If you were to take the allowances out of both bids, where does their base number line up? Has anybody done that analysis?
Tabor has allowances totaling $665,000 on essentially the same bid as Allstate did. Well, you know, like it's double what Allstate had on. Actually,
what they only bid on one school, not on
no,
both?
they've been on both,
They did
but
both, but separately, two different
Yeah.
schools rather than a discount.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they had the opportunity, and Brian helped me with some of the language on submitting some, like bidding both the standalone and then sending a letter separate that said, hey, I do both schools, this
Right.
is the, you know, the combination price or discount or
Mhm.
whatever. Neither bidders did, I was surprised at that.
I know, I was really surprised
Because
too.
I was thinking that, I mean, they submitted on both, the intent to get both.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they go, hey, I'm looking, if I get, and they, the price is down by 5% or whatever, however they do that, so. I was surprised at that.
Have you seen, are these bids, your opinion, competitive of what's going on out in the market at about 25?
Yeah, based on the scope of work and the dollars that they bid,
Yeah.
it's in line with everything we're seeing. Actually, I think your pricing was better than what we, like I said, we just went through 5 of these.
Or,
In Norwalk, only 4 of them are going to GMP because one of them is so far over budget. It couldn't even be VE to a point where they could salvage it, which is unfortunate. But I think your pricing is more competitive here than we got. Obviously, there's probably a Fairfield County factor.
right,
Interestingly enough, Allstate did not bid down there. Savmore did. They bid on 2 of the 5 jobs down there. And they came in second. So their pricing is competitive. They know the market. They're more than capable. So.
all right.
So, do you need more time to digest this? Yeah, okay,
I'm like, yeah, I haven't had a chance.
okay,
I didn't look at my email. For this stuff,
yeah.
but, um, can't wait too long.
I know, so, possibly a special meeting, if, I don't wanna, I'm just throwing it out as an option. Because there's other things going on that affect.
Right,
Brian
right,
speak to as far as, and actually, think about it, and I don't know how, Ryan, you wanna go with the funding aspect, which is sort of outside of these, but it's gonna have to be able to press the town council. And then Kevin was talking about a July 8th meeting where possibly the town council could act, board of finance would be downstairs and would get the word, and said last time he did that with Arosha. Arosha said it passed, then the board of finance could actually do it the same night. But there's gonna be a little lag until we can actually afford these things anyway. So,
We're saying the first meeting, we're saying. One of those meetings, like July 3rd, or we saying
Well,
like July 17th?
no, I think you guys can make your recommendation independent of that action. And then at that point, goes to the council, if there's no money, boom, everything goes away, which is not gonna happen, but
No, right, it's for us, then a special meeting. Strict meeting. And
right.
so we have 3rd to 26th, I mean, the week before,
In the June,
you know, or 2 weeks from now or 3 weeks from now.
Well, I would like to in my mind, it'd be great to get, and we can even do, the town council can accept subject to requests, like, subject to the town council, board of finance, all planets aligning. This is, we want to award, Griswold to X and Hubbard to Y, as well as the other bids we have in the design profession. So it would be, like, if you want to be a week before that, so it would actually be, yeah, early July or late June. Yeah.
Today would be 26.
But it's really up to you.
Yeah, no, I'm just- We're all here.
Yeah.
Most of them.
Lots to take in. And one unfortunate thing is because of how we pressed for the timeframe, we couldn't get Newfield on to help with this. They're one of the bids that came in with all the other bids. And they were their bid was the only bid for construction management.
So the advantage to us acting on that
I-
now.
It would have been nice to have them already in place.
But I mean, if we even have them acting on that now.
Yes, yes. And it would have to go to council. Now, there is enough money. No, there is enough money for, the CM, to come on board. They can change it on this, the seating.
Yeah, I don't want,
It's,
what I'm wrestling with is, it sounds like they keep a contract, the both contract. I'd like to know, I'd like to get, on that, find out what the heck they can do, so, why did they have it done? We won't know that.
well, I can say, like, even like the $130 per foot for, basically, it's that final
Yeah.
total bid, right? Is if it goes extra, they get another 5 feet. Instead of $13 a foot, it's 130, so, they can chip away, they can.
Right, well, we're not gonna accept that,
Right, so then we can say, you know what, leave it out, we'll have
right?
those guys do it, or Encore do it, you're right, you have ultimate control.
But then that. I don't want to get,
I know,
doing that too much, that's just maintenance the project, and it gets everybody their fingers in the pie. How about? What was Allstate's bid? How much higher was Allstate bid for?
well, Homestead was 4.295 and Sable was 4.218. So it's like 70.
73,000.
So.
72,000, yeah, the number.
However. Yep. Dodge one, you take those allowances out, then Allstate. Plus we have history. We don't have to pick the lowest bid, we have to take the lowest qualified bid. If arguing that. Defend somebody that. We're very qualified in this state, have a good history. Excellent history.
Did you talk to Jeff about any of this?
He said most qualified.
Those
We
qualified.
have to go back and allow question. Who's the corporation counsel?
Oh, check.
Yeah, because Doug was thinking the same way you were, like, what are our options and rights? So,
Well, ever since we had demolition, I'm firmly, and I come from the private world. Of Florida. This notion of having to accept the lowest bid has always been foreign to me in 25 years. I want the best. So. That's something to think about. I think that, and that's what I would think about it, not that if it's. Pretty close. Why would we risk having to dance around? $500,000 in allowances. You get something that's. You want to check. But in weigh in on what, 26, wow. So my thought
Because
process,
it's state money, we ever tied a little bit more
yeah,
versus if it was local share.
yeah,
Which we'd be a little more exposed. is the back both bidders and say, provide a combined number with, multiple. That's what's, well, that's the,
Oh,
Yeah,
that's option.
have you ever seen that, Brian?
What's that?
Where you get two separate bids? And then you go back to both bidders, because they didn't submit a combo package and request a combo package from both.
Oh,
Yeah, you could. It's kind of like a best and final,
never say
you
best.
know? Well, yeah. You know, another way to look at it, if you want, so that it's still apples to apples. The first 4 allowances were set dollar amounts that they couldn't mess up either one of them. You could say that you're only going to accept allowances 1 through 4. Okay, and then you're rolling the dice with allowances 5 through 10, because that's where things really get different. If those happen during the job, you're sort of at the mercy of a change condition. Just something to think about.
Yeah.
You know,
I would hate to penalize contractors that did proper due diligence and homework and put in reasonable allowances.
Yep.
Like one may have done.
Yep.
And give benefit of the doubt to somebody that, no, throw this in there, throw this in
Yeah.
there, and then we'll negotiate with the town after.
Do we have similar allowances on wind?
yes.
Use them?
I mean,
These
All
ones I'm
states-
talking about?
I don't have Willard's contract in front of me with Allstate, but if I had to guess, they probably had around $300,000 in allowances at Willard. You're getting 113,000 of that back. So they didn't use it.
Yeah, I think we added a couple of like the code base, I think was an add-on the last one.
Yep.
A couple were added based on Will's experience. Yeah,
Yeah.
but really a lot of them, the fixed allowances were there, and then I think the first 5
Yeah.
or 6 were.
Yeah.
Actually, were very similar. Right.
Willard, I mean, just for, the agent, so schools, I mean, Griswold was close to Willard, certainly than Hubbard, correct, and Hubbard the old stuff. Which is the old school, I'm just thinking of things that could be different construction realities, and what you're gonna find over the time. I'm thinking Hubbard's older, so I don't know what you're gonna find, where
Yeah.
Griswold, if it's of the same era of Willard.
I think they're pretty consistent. Like, it's
I
not
don't,
always-
I don't.
Yeah, one was 62, one was 65, and then they both had Reynolds and 92. So they're actually, yeah, block.
Yeah.
Vendor seal, all kinds of stuff above the ceiling.
How about, is Willard the same age?
I don't think
That was the first edition, and then Hubbard, I think, in Crystal Hubbard. It was all another deck.
But there was a little more above ceiling, the other piece. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Not as many variables I'm used to.
Okay.
A bunch of above ceiling block. A little more. Better feeling above ceiling, less surprises. Yeah, there were a lot of lessons learned from Willard that were put into Griswold.
Well, then that just, I mean, to me, that just means that maybe the allowances. Really aren't. Impact.
Today's, don't know about.
Yeah.
You know, if you pull the allowance down, the number, low, say more by a lot. Yeah, 850 gig.
Their allowances.
Yeah, you could take advantage, just put it inside, then say 500,000, check that out. Oh,
Right.
and then we still save ourselves. Greater, right?
Again, it goes back to my theory that sometimes people can bid start putting in getting a lower number than putting in a high allowance, counting on spending all our allowance. I know we have to pay them, but they might be good at wearing things down, a la Ferguson, just that was their MO. Not necessarily with allowances, but change orders.
Right.
So. That was the first thing I think about, like, somebody is zero in on
Well, that's why I
allowance.
was
I
asking.
mean, you're a contractor, you know what's doing, I understand allowances.
if you know, if we have more knowledge of what's above these ceilings,
Yeah,
at least to. Not knowing why.
Yeah,
There wasn't, didn't seem to be a lot of R5s in these arts, but are they seeing something that they know? That,
yeah,
well, that's my,
Right.
so now,
It's something stand out to them in the drawing and said, oh yeah, we got this.
right.
Where it didn't seem to come by and back on our. Not needed.
Right.
So are they seeing something that everyone else is missing, that this is the low hanging fruit they're gonna grab?
oh. Just I'm encouraged by the fact that you have confidence in both confidence, confident contract, so.
I think Jeff knew about Save More too, and said they're, a competent contractor, they may be, what did you say, administratively, get a little bit more on the administrative side, but yes, they have another style in all state. So. Well, whatever, I wasn't privy to the conversation, but thought it'd be nice.
More coming out of down here. Oh, right.
We can pick and choose our own. You know?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, the ones that are close, like ACP tile,
Right,
ceiling grease, that's fairly. Well, it's really the.
It's 5, 6,
base
and
the
7.
top of wall.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And 10. And quite honestly, 10 may just be a typo. Decimal points in the wrong place.
Yeah, 130.
130 versus 13.
Well,
So,
well, that's what I was wondering if we did a scope.
Yeah.
Here they got $13 and then they got $130, and the complication is that.
trigger happy other.
Yeah, but they put it on both bids, so
Yeah.
to me, it's
there.
an act of being intentional. You get a typo on one with the other, then you realize, plus you know, multiply it by that, you're like, it's 60 grand for, wall base.
What?
Or maybe they're banking on it being a very short, I don't know, that's something so you can put on that. But I don't know, flexible, throw some glue on. So do you want me to run down the rest of these while Don is doing another question? Yeah.
Yeah,
So the CNA commissioning, was the only, bidder was Newfield. And total bid was 921, of which, 165,000 was, 2 allowances, one with premium time and one for, 6 months extra of project, monitoring. So that's about an 18% contingency, so I don't even think you use any of that, right?
no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a sort of a healthy contingency based on those 2 parameters. Something else came out of.
oh, yeah, 2 different contracts here. Well, bit more than.
No, it is, yeah. And Willard, I sent you my little analysis of what was built on Willard, and this is discounted that, it's not double what Willard looked for us at the time, so. So that's where that number lies. The architect and civil services during construction came in at 59,000, and one bidder, Prior Architecture, who did Willard, that knows the deal. 10,000 of that is an allowance, so that would put up to 17% changes on top of that. The MEP, bid was from BL companies, one bid came in. I sent a little note around about this. CES, who was the designer for all three schools, somehow missed bid opportunity for this. And we sent them an email with, when it got posted, I literally sent 3 guys at CES. I said, this is posted, look at the bottom of the list. They missed that, focused on the commissioning, which I didn't even know they did, and did not submit a bid for the any bid. So there's an interested bidder out there if, you know, you decide to rebid it, but the timing really is a little tight, but, anyway, that's an option. Yeah, one bidder for that, that's,
They do a lot of it.
PL, I mean, LCES, yeah, well, it makes sense, it's in the, you know,
I'm sorry,
wheelhouse.
so who did? Who bid?
The MEP, the BL companies.
Yeah.
And I went through their call pack, they answered all the questions, they look qualified, they have a team. And their number is split, it's for both schools, so it's around 65. And that contingency is low at 6% of 8,000. And then for commissioning,
Real Wi-Fi,
but
airline analogy. Plane takes off and you're not there, you miss it, so. It's so hard.
Well,
Yeah, sort of.
when I got that in, and they literally half an hour after the bid opening, they sent me a note saying, that's where they missed it. Well, if there's anything we can do, let us know, and I'm like,
Until
oh,
next time.
So,
Okay.
and commissioning's more interesting, and that's why I gave you the SES, and maybe Doug can help me explain some of this.
Yeah, I think they offered some additional alternates, even though they don't believe they're asked for it, we have to keep.
And that's at the bottom of your packet.
Well,
Looks like SES is this one, and then, again, Collier, I think I did a little spreadsheet.
SES ends up a little bit low if we look at this, the base bid and what we asked for, very,
And I was talking to Doug about this today, I wish they hadn't put the ad alternates into their lump sum amount on the bid form, because we didn't ask for that. So they put in,
And I know this is the things that irritate me.
Right.
It's very nice to ask for something and get what you ask for, instead of somebody else saying, well, you know what? I know you asked for a Chevrolet 4-door, but we're gonna give you a 2-door Ferrari. I don't want it.
yeah, no. Just SES, yeah. So it bumps up their bid of 48, and come down by 4,400. You take out the 2 ad alternates. Yeah, well, they are, however, as Joe can help me explain, Collier Groups, their fee schedule totals up 38,1 and doesn't include the allowance that's supposed to be in the base bid. So there was an $8,000, so it really should have been 38 plus 8. So that was a technical issue. And they're very clear about, they line everything up, so it adds up to 38,1. So really, they did not put the $8,000 in, so that would go up by 30. I mean, by 8.
it'll be clear.
Yep.
Well,
For both of them. Okay, so you wanna go back to them? Clarify.
Do we need a meeting, or can we just do that?
I think we've done it with just questions after a bid, like clarifying, almost like something like.
We don't need to have them come in and have a presentation. We could just.
I think this is straightforward enough for, you know,
please clarify.
please clarify, yeah. And then if Collier Group says, yes, we blew it, it should be $8,000 more, then SES is actually, they're low.
It's a clarification,
Yeah.
all you ask that.
Right.
You know, straightforward, don't lead them in any way.
No, I know that, I'm just saying,
If
if they say should have been added on to the 38, you're at 46. SCS is at 48. But if you take out the alternates, they're at 4. It's almost like they're. But SCS would be actually low bidder if Collier Group did make a
Adds the
mistake,
eight back
adds
in.
the eight,
Yeah.
and SCS takes out the 4,400, they would be low bidder.
So
So
I-
clarification for both.
Clarification, totally neutral. We don't understand this, but then you just.
And yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, okay.
Or I can, Marissa might, the person in front, or except for in contact. Give her the questions to ask.
Yeah.
Okay. That's it for the bids. And then Ashley, I think you checked with the state and we can't get a,
Can't file an extension until we're under contract.
right, but then they won't do more than a year out on top of, right? So,
A year from December 31st, 2025.
right, so really this is the schedule. The town really has to do both schools now.
Currently.
Yeah, in order to get the grant, to use grant money. So,
Having said that,
in my mind, I mean, that's, yeah.
in my mind, that's a little bit of a benefit for having two different contractors in case. Well, one could be good, I mean, it is, I have to think about that. Yeah. Yeah, you can, I could argue against that, so.
But Doug was even saying we were talking about, well, maybe if, because we're short money on one of them, if we bump it back and start in the fall, we still might have enough time to finish by December 31st, 2026. You know, because, if we're missing the first summer season, they can flip and do their site work next summer. Is that optimal? No.
It's substantial.
Yeah. Is it
Yes,
substantial
yeah.
completion, actually? And what happens if we miss that?
You don't get the grant.
Wanted to get that on record. So, okay.
But I think even Willard, I mean, that language is a little different, but substantial completion and I think they allowed even in that 6 months past or
I
something.
want to say 90 days.
90 days.
90 days.
Lot can happen.
Oh, within 3 months. Oh, okay.
Spring of 27.
Oh, you can go over. Oh, okay.
All right. I'm just, yeah, thinking, I think maybe we'll just go on next, chew on this, and then probably some sort of special meeting, have on resolution, so.
And we'll get the scope clarification on commissioning as far as contract. You guys are gonna look at a contract, those are the biggies, so.
Yeah. I'd rather do, sort of wrap everything up, but just so I'm clear, can we have I know I almost got arrested for having a meeting that via an email, we're not allowed to do that.
No,
Who says no? I want to see this person. You can have a virtual meeting. So instead of email, you can have a Zoom thing? Zoom thing, sure.
Or a conference call?
Yeah.
No. Oh, so it really has to be,
I have to see somebody say their words, even if I know them, I know them.
okay.
Right,
I got a call
it
too.
needs to be public.
Right, yeah.
Well, that's not true, but yeah.
We had people join our public.
Oh, I'm sorry, you guys have to allow for the.
Please, block that out.
We'll set something up, either a Zoom meeting or Zoom plus, and whoever's here.
You just need a forum.
Yeah, so it's.
Yeah.
Well, I just like everybody to opportunity.
Oh, yeah, no.
Make
It could be any time of day and any,
no.
it's 24 hours notice. As long as you have Lisa,
You don't have any plans on the 4th of July, right?
You tripped on that?
I do have a trip to Texas, June 19th through
Well, you
25th.
All right, that's what we'll do. So the next one then is
lab moisture review. You want to keep up on that?
I'll be honest, I kind of checked out after a while on that. I saw stuff flying around and I know there's activity, but I know you have the short-term scope,
Anything done where we're at?
Has there any, we have to, we'll start it off by, has there been progress made, as John sent a couple of progress? My name sent a initial plan for the short-term fix.
We have a short-term plan, we made a little help from that, just to get the commitment for next week, or I'm doing some correspondence, just to get them back here. And identify some more areas.
You're supposed to go through and some raw the tile.
Right.
Yeah. That was the last, when I heard about it, that, I didn't know what to get that done, then from there you were gonna hire the local contractor, say these are the tiles we're abating, we're removing, clean up the glue underneath it, and then reapply the new tiles. But we're gonna handle it, or we're gonna go outside?
Yeah, we have 2 flooring contractors that are engaged already on their Homer. So we looked at the hallway corridor areas that are identified in the initial report.
Yeah.
What I'm gonna do is mark up classrooms. That's
So I'll call him tomorrow morning,
that'd be great. Yeah, we have some phone calls and emails to them.
write down some paint on him.
Have they done anything? Have they put magic marker number 1 on the first tile? They're not done that there.
And
And it's disappointing.
The clear visible stuff that was identified in the report, we know that. In the 5 simple areas.
I mean, I could go around and do that, so.
no,
I know, I'm just, that's my point. What we wanted,
Yeah.
John's point was, look, if they have 632 tiles, number them,
right?
through 632, and it's clear to everybody, and then we go into class.
the baseline, if this is, it's plain right now at this point, and then we'll see what happens come next fall, we'll reassess it.
Right.
See who we are, I mean, how many more have gone, but by then we should have a plan in place to do the removals in the classroom, is where I would go first, and do all the removals in the classroom, and then do the halls, all that happens that. And anytime we get a break, we do it, with a break, you won't get so much, and stick out small bites until we get it done, and
Yeah.
maybe next summer, we go, hot well, take care of everything.
Well, I thought it was helpful that full containment is not required for this tile.
No, it was pretty
removal.
good. Yeah, we got
Yeah, that, that's close.
Don, if you can give us anything, so we do have an agenda item for the council on Tuesday, and let's say, okay, well, we can get with John, we can confirm on each for what, 2 weeks, and 7.
So I'll give him a call.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's aware of it and engaged, and there's just a good lag in his final follow.
He needs to have some money.
Olivia never
stays
stays
on.
on, forget that.
Not the cycle.
The other thing, money.
Yeah.
And maybe we can,
That's the motive.
maybe we can.
You guys don't have enough.
He sent it in,
We don't have
here
enough
somewhere. I thought I saw it in, maybe
Yes.
I didn't see it.
There's an invoice. I'm so literal.
Science part.
Yes.
Oh, no, we have an invoice? Oh, no, I'll do that later.
I resent around the Board of Ed's RFP and the results. Fire was the low bidder. It was 109. Yeah, 109,000. There are known quantity, heck, we're using them on all the school projects, so they're, I would say, eminently qualified. So, anyway, so I guess the ball is in your court to say, okay to the selection.
And then qualified. How are they with science? They're doing everything else, but it's not special, right?
That's everything special in that.
I think if they follow, my guess would be they'd be quite qualified, especially if they get direction from
Sure.
From a curriculum. Yeah. Yeah.
I like,
Do you have any part?
I said I like fire.
Okay, oh, that's,
That's good plus.
it is.
I do too, by the way.
Well, and if we're gonna be working with them, I don't like it.
Did you make a motion?
So, yes, about, the motion that.
Or should we go with the little bit of the fire?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Anybody opposed?
Sorry. I dropped the ball a couple times on this.
2 minutes
I
of eight.
think we finally got over the finish line.
I just wanted to back up. The high school, talked about, the architect, for design, whatever we're going back with. I know we have to wait for, council. That reporting,
It's not on the agenda.
Just we need a proposal from Brian and we can
Yeah.
present.
Oh, right, yeah.
So we need Brian to.
because what I'd like him to do is start engaging. And figure out what they want to go back with.
We can try to get that for the first one in July.
First one, yeah. We get the proposal, probably get some ready. He's an on-call architect, so I'm shortlisted to bring the council to utilize that on-call rate.
Excellent, really.
So it's not truly a bid waiver, it's just increasing the threshold that's currently.
Okay.
And he was supposed to be working on a services.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he needs anything from us as far as some plans or anything, kind of take the magnitude.
I think I just sent him the out for the whole floor plan.
Well, if it shows up tonight, yeah.
Hello.
It's all,
Good evening.
Yeah. Timberland's name.
you want to go through number 8 first?
Oh, I already checked that off, yeah. Oh, yeah, let's just, I mean, just tell me real quick, so the library review. Just real quick, do the library. review.
Yes, Steve Grant was received, but not received the Steve Grant. That'll cover library review, you can think that after. Commitment to language, we have nothing prior.
We're gonna have to.
Yeah, you know that.
Yeah.
Right. Same thing, we just have a kind of a budget box, so we're gonna have to start for that. Question.
What's the timing on the grant? X amount of time or like this?
We don't, we can't start anything until contracts.
The thought was to go ahead and proceed to town hall, because that's outside of the next bid package is ready, and the fund is placed.
And you guys have seen that.
It'll be the same contract.
Potentially, if it's in the two separate bids, two separate. I think the town hall will go up and forward, the town hall ready to go where the library.
Right.
It's kind of,
That those contracts could take a while, right? Yeah, so,
no harm, no foul, the library, spring 26 hours. Calendar year 26, so the town hall, so it's done this year.
If you want library, that's. Gary Rainbow went into the library, so, going in. Big gutters.
Oh, yeah, those, I hear the town hall,
I'll try it, but yeah, everything, I'll try, I think the commission approved the bid package already.
yeah, we
Then
did.
it was the grant. So it was good.
Okay. Timberland.
Bunkers, wow. What's going on?
How's everything, Doc?
Really? Brian, you gotta leave. You're.
If you don't need me for anything, I've been in Westmore the last 3 days. No, it's okay.
Yeah.
So if you have any, and I know we're not, if you have questions moving forward.
Okay.
We can help.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
If you're gonna scope the guys and you need scope sheets, let me know, we can crank them out quick. Because we've got a starting point.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Okay, appreciate your time, guys.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So I'll just give a little recap. Don and I have been going back to the RFP, as well as you were seeing the design packages as they were evolving. And spec, we actually saw the plan view, the spec, the details, and then we were kind of working on the front end with Saul. He now has taken to the golf commission, and there may be some changes to that, or really?
Very small,
Oh, okay.
to maybe a couple bunkers, if we're gonna take it out or not, type thing.
Right.
It says 35 days for duration, we're gonna change to 45,
Oh, that's
very
not-
small things.
Yeah. So essentially the golf course commission and Solo or asked for getting for permission to go out to bid. And that will go on the online system. There'll be some changes because they didn't have P&P bonds and bid bonds and all that. So I'll make sure that's in there, or I'll circulate the package before it actually goes out to bid.
They gotta work with you on the wording on the owner.
They have been already.
Back and
Saul and
forth.
I have been going, we've been like, it's like playing ping pong with
What
Darth.
about pen? Do you need to see any of it?
We can modify it.
It's their first foray into anything legal.
Yeah.
He's pretty top.
Right, and there's no, I think I made the point, there's no state money, so there's no,
Right.
set aside, all that CHRO stuff does not get it.
But,
Yes,
Yeah.
well, insurance money and then local town money, right? Yeah, bond, okay, yeah. So, no state, it's all local, and insurance.
the question I have really is, the contractor that did all the drawings, does he have any recommended contractors?
He knows of some folks that, that he's worked with in the past. So yes,
So the only reason I'm asking is, he's got like 4 or 5, let's make sure they get invites for it specifically, so they, at least we get 4 or 5 bids on it.
he
Yeah.
told us in the meeting tonight that he's
Yeah.
gonna personally call those folks,
Right.
along with who we would get through our process.
Yeah.
Did you do anything like this over in Portland?
We didn't have any public comment. No, not town. It's my first foray.
Golf course management.
Since it doesn't, Jimmy Norton's law.
I'm Don. Not mine. On a ball. I never played my ball. There's a reason for that.
So I can circulate, like, once, because now as we've done 6 bids on the online thing, I'm really good now on, kind of like, I can grab this stuff and make a PDF and send it around. But I think really they're looking for more from else.
Thank you, guys.
In your proposal that you put together, the architect together, do you have any alternates or any like that in the proposal or no?
There's 2 ways it could go, depending on our money situation. But from my understanding, we're good to go with some bonding. And that was the 2 options in the RFP, if we were gonna get the extra or not.
I think what Don's asking is, was there something on your wish list that you're gonna do as an add alternate in the bid package? For example, if you had some, you didn't know if you had enough money for it, you said, listen, instead of doing the bunker on hole 18 this way, we wanna do it this way, how much extra would it cost? And we've seen that with bids where you're not sure if you have enough money, your wish list might be bigger than the budget. But I don't remember any add alternates on the.
There aren't any, we kept it strictly towards bunkers and restoration of bunkers. There's no additional, just because there's a broken bridge, we're gonna do it, just strictly for that project.
Well, if they add any, I'll let you know.
That's my name, Jim Norton, Sidview Drive, Berlin, Connecticut. We'd rather do it piecemeal over a couple of years, because the setup is what's going to kill you time after time.
Right.
But let's do it once, do it right, we're over and done with, and going forward. I mean, we're showing profits. We've been throwing money back into the general fund, say we're $500,000 over, the past 5-6 years. So, listen, we just need the seal of approval from you guys to go forward on.
What is the course won't be closed down there?
No.
The holes might be.
That's a great question, because I brought that up today. I said, listen, we're gonna have to form a steering committee, just a couple people, in addition to those guys that, formulate what's gonna happen, how we're gonna do it, what's the plan of attack this thing? When are we gonna do it, right? If they have concrete, they have to put additive in the concrete. If it's in the winter, well, however we're gonna do it. Are you gonna close down holes? Are you gonna close down 2 or 3 holes at a clip? Are you gonna have temporary greens? We don't wanna shut the course down, because listen, it's the revenue, you're gonna have that revenue coming in, right? So you may have to alternate some of your fees, but
The architect should help you with that, and even the contractor.
yet.
Well, once,
Because they'll have experiences.
sure, once they're there, yeah, exactly. Once we have that, then we'll, you know, the plan of attack will come into play. You know, we'll set something out and then,
The only question I ask him is, you know, let's say, we're gonna do it next winter. And we get it done in 2 months, that's a question I would ask. We just did a Lake of Isles, we did 36 holes, we did all the bunkers, we did one, the one we did in 2 months. So we bit the bullet, the court was shut down, of course. The contractors had full rain, but they had no excuse for delay, so you may wanna ask those kind of questions.
I think they can go in threes. Like, you know, close 3, you know, do it for a week, then close the next 3 with temporary greens.
Yeah, but if you do it over the winter, it doesn't matter, your play is almost zero.
Well,
Do it in the-
that's not true. We're playing till December.
we closed in December.
We had rounds at Christmas.
Let's say you shut down in the winter, your slow time for 2 months. Have at it, get it done in 2 months as opposed to dragging out.
Yeah.
If you ask
There's
me,
nothing. I mean,
end of October would be great.
only you should. Oh, bean counter down there. That's something.
That's
It's fiscal and seasonal, right? And that's going through May last year. So you can see revenue, by month, you can see expenses by month. Right? You can have that.
Yeah, like I said,
Tommy, you got any glasses?
Oh, yes.
so you can shut down for 2 months.
There's-
Without probably
yeah.
hanging out.
You see the months that there's no revenue coming through the door for the most part. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Basically December, January, February.
Basically, bid it and say, we had a bit.
I would definitely tell them that, you know, we're looking at doing a shutdown over the winter as an option. And let us know.
Oh, as an option. Could be a deduct.
I think it says fall October in the RFP.
No, but the gentleman today, yes, had told us that, in order to put in what they need into the sand traps, it has to be 43.
Yeah, because they're probably doing a slurry mix, but if you tell them that they're gonna do it in the winter, there's mixed designs you can use that will work. You just have to make sure that the bidders know that you're gonna be doing it in the winter.
In the RFP, it shows our desired date start. So, and we're gonna have a pre-bidding meeting, so maybe that's something.
You
that
talk
we
to
can
the
talk
architect,
them.
talk to the architect about it, see what he says about it. Listen, our slowest time is the middle of winter.
Yeah,
We're looking to shut down for 2 months, maybe 3 months in the middle of winter to get this all done. So we open in the spring and we have nothing to look back at, we're done.
I think,
And after, what we have to do to make that adjustment. And it may be an add, it may be a deduct, who knows? Because if they're in there in a shorter duration, you know, they get the work done quicker, it may not be as bad as dragging out over 6. And you don't have to do temporary greens, you don't have to do any of that stuff.
what we're worried about right now is actually getting bids that will be for the fall rather than the spring.
I think if you price over the winter, those contracts could be a bit slow then, so it may make some sense, but find out, who knows?
Yeah.
Get the bids in and take a look at it.
That's what we're hoping to do.
Yeah.
The contract is gonna be really creative with fencing and everything. We did a bridge on Glen Street, underneath the bridge, in the middle of, it was zero, it was like almost like 20 degrees. They pumped in heat, they closed both sides, and so you're concerned about the concrete, they can tent it and they can get it, at least it was 65 degrees, but 4 degrees underneath that bridge with their temporary heat that they say.
Yeah, it's a slow time too. I mean, it's a slow time, so.
Yeah.
Plus, if they close down, they don't have to worry about.
Back and forth.
Wait 25 years to get back.
I think we're okay with it going out the bid, I think.
I think you guys have done a good job with this. So, but, and if you run into a crack, just before you commit anything, hesitate, just give Mike a call, or, you know, give Jim a call, and
When
get
you
a
get,
hold of one of us.
when you get the bids back, we like to review the bids.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
we
if
can
there's
help you
a
out
D
with that.
scope, I'll send in the D scope, we can make sure we get value out of them if we need to, so just let me know.
Again, don't forget to talk to Jeff Dunn.
Oh, that's right, the modify there,
You're
yeah.
gonna-
Okay.
Yeah.
About
I can, well, either one of us can run it by him, whatever, I'll just make sure it happens, all right?
tomorrow.
Yep.
But-
Tomorrow.
Oh, well, We have to do the online, you have to.
No, I'm sorry, I thought you were talking about talking to D'Onofrio.
No, I think once we have the package together, like a draft on with the online thing,
Yeah.
we send a PDF to him and just have him run through it. He usually has some good comments, so.
All right, I hate to give you a bum's rush, but we have half a minute
Thank
to
you.
go. and-
Yeah.
All right.
Is there a motion? Is there
Gotta
a,
go buy some gum.
We just want to get it out.
All right.
second? Is,
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. That's all.
Sure. VNA suite reconfiguration.
Free up the money. That, any permit, any wetland permitting, what has a permit?
I think it's under.
I mean, what's the square footage, what's the distance? I mean, what's the, well, I just asked, because one time, the only time that I ever seen anybody not deal with a permit is the town doesn't deal with it.
Only if there's a left-handed salamander.
Turtles.
Box turtles.
I'm sure we can get the path away and fees in the town, but it's hard.
Just two problems.
can they go ahead, can we,
Just go to the three dots and just, promote, promote the panelists. And then do that to Woody. And they have to accept, but they should be moving.
got the green star,
All right.
they'll be,
There you go.
No sign of Brian Hughes either, right?
No,
His meeting must have gone over.
is Greg,
he declined, so he doesn't want new panelists.
It's an observation. Of it.
okay,
VNA suites.
Actually, the bridges first. Nothing.
Oh, I thought we
nothing
did.
to report.
Okay, VNA suites.
I just want to make sure that it's addressed, you know?
I thought we did it at once, being efficient.
Okay.
They left before that.
Yeah. Focus on one.
Yes? Speak.
Woody's ready to speak, if you could be so kind to,
Who's Woody?
Steve Wood.
Steve Wood
I
for,
know, sorry, I can't see that. Sorry, Woody.
Don't worry, I've only been here for like an hour and 15 minutes. It's comfy over
I
here.
know. Oh, the speaker's coming out of here instead of the Bluetooth. Audio,
Yeah, if you click the three, yeah, then you can pick the,
speakerphone.
yeah, it's.
Can you say something? Woody, test, we need a test.
Can you guys hear me?
Oh, yeah, perfect. Coming in loud and clear.
So Woody's the one reporting on the bridges?
No, well, right now, right now you're at the, VNA suite, right?
No, according to,
Oh, we move things around, right?
I am
Right.
totally confused.
Me too.
Bridges, the bridges are done?
British,
VNA suite.
nothing to report.
VNA suite.
Commission freed up the money, that's back, and we'll be bringing that to council. We're just working internally with the departments that would be relocating, so we're bringing that to council either first or second July meeting. And then it may come back to you for further review, but, it's like, well, once it goes construction approval, so I think we're pretty straightforward, but.
Yeah, okay, very straightforward.
We just, yeah, because it was just, the timeline is early voting, so we gotta get this ready so that, it's freed up for that, otherwise, you know, the year, like, that's the main purpose of it.
And it was never formally referred to the PBC, it was
Yeah.
more, give us the money.
Yeah. So you got the money?
Yeah.
We don't need to hear about it. Trying to keep the agenda low. Okay, the Memorial Pool Complex that I didn't know existed. It's an update on
There
that.
it is,
There it is, there's.
Oh,
Mr. Wood.
he disappeared again.
I'm taking this. I'm sorry. I thought Mike was taking this. the Park and Rec Commission approved the RFP that we sent up to you guys today for some review. I think we're trying to roll it out in phases. I believe there was some design money already approved for this, and I think we're just waiting for Mike to get some feedback from the PBC.
Okay, so what happened was Jen sent me a draft RFP. Was basically you would request that the RFP go to the commission, get signed off. So Woody did that tonight. I took a look at the RFP. It's very detailed. 2 phases. One is assessment, design, permitting, and the second phase is bidding and construction administration. So I went through it, and it but that has to come to these guys, Woody. So
yeah,
so
the Park and Rec Commission voted to turn it over to the PBC tonight to review.
Okay, yeah. So that's
So we're actually gonna be administering the funds.
I believe you will. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. then we
So the
definitely need to see
RFP
it.
will be coming to you right after this meeting, and then we'll talk about it next week.
We'll go to the next.
Whatever the next meeting, if
Whenever
you
the
want to
next
talk
meeting.
to us. Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
good. Glad to see you're thorough.
I think I'm here for the track again too.
He is here for the track.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a bonus presentation. by Woody.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Woody, I forgot. Yeah, very, very nicely done.
All right, then you're up again with the track.
We're ready.
So I guess you guys have some questions regarding the track, where we got the figures from the track, where the request came from the track. So I put a document together with Mike with a 2-page letter to start off with, the original PowerPoint that was presented back last year, and the statement of need from Ashley from the BOE. So if you guys can fire away with any questions that I can help you guys with, please let me know.
And I sent that around, I sent you a whole package to the guys last week. So it had his summary of, and it included like our involvement, the PBC's involvement as well. So.
My recollection from reading this was there was a lot of options like on the track, what to do, what kind of base, and I come from the days of cinder tracks. So do you have any I didn't see a recommendation though. I saw a lot of, maybe lately there was a recommendation, but early on it was a lot of, we could do this, we could do this, we could do this, we could do this. And I didn't see what you wanted. And we're not the ones who, you guys have to, not you, but the school, I guess, the Board of Ed, whoever's in charge of this is the one that has to be the advocate of this and say, demonstrably, we need this. This is how it's going to do the program. This is why you're trying to convince the town council to spend a lot of money. And then in order for us to come up with the money that's being spent, we have to have some stuff that's pretty concrete. Not a lot of options, but we need this.
Well, but also I think we can offer our assistance
Yeah,
in the context of evaluating those options, in the context of, if I remember correctly, one of the options is, putting a new concrete base down.
Yeah.
Concrete base down will last longer than you just keep resurfacing, so it can help that longer term assessment, as opposed to, just redo it once and have to redo it again in 15 years, as opposed to what's the life cycle over the next 50 years.
I got, but I'd like to know what the school wants and what the athletic department. I'm sorry, I missed that.
This was a Park and Rec project. We presented it to
Park and Rec.
the town council, Park and Rec committee, and then when it was referred to the town council, it was the statement of needs. So from the Board of Ed, because it was at the Berlin High School. So that's when the Board of Ed kind of got involved.
Right.
If you need Steve and I to work in a partnership together to get more information for you, certainly.
Well, I guess that was my question. I mean, I know it's, I didn't realize it was Park and Rec. I thought the Board of Ed owned the.
So can I just
the
chime in for a second?
I mean, the high school is the main user of that, right?
The municipal fields are town property, it's essentially a town property, so we control it in the sense of during school hours, but it's essentially open to the public.
It's a town asset.
Exactly.
It's town asset, but the school dominates it during certain times. For instance, you'd never move a football game to put,
Right.
something else in, or you'd never move a track meet or practice on that track meet. So that was that was how I was thinking coming out of it, that the school will be the primary user, certainly of the track.
We could put something more comprehensive together. Work with
Well, I want to make sure that you guys are okay. I'd hate to spend a lot of money on a track for Park and Rec and have the school say, oh, no, this isn't what we need. We need a concrete base.
Steve's been working with Dave Franklangia, our athletic
That's
director,
right,
as
yeah.
well as Steve Stussy, our track and field coach. So the three of them have worked together on this development plan, which is what Steve put together
Okay.
to present to town council in session.
Okay, so as long as the AD had weighed in, that's
Of course, yeah.
a critical thing.
So the
My
CND,
opinion.
David and I pretty much worked together on that based on some information that we received from the track coach and from Steve. So we had a lot of input on that, which we got as we worked as a team.
Okay. Good, thanks.
Steve was trying to tell you something.
Woody, go ahead.
Perfect. So I think the way this all came unraveled and ended up on your guys' plate is when this originally went to council, it was part of the bond with the bunkers and bridges at Timberland Golf Course. And in the bond, there was written a building. So the town council thought that the school or the Board of Ed was looking to construct a building at Biscoglio Field. So that's where it got put on you guys. And when they looked at the price tag of $1 million from the H.I. Stone estimate and the KBA estimate, they thought that was a little high and outlandish, and they wanted to have it vetted. So from there, we did a bunch of legwork, digging around, looking at the job that Ryan Curley did in Portland with the post-tension concrete for just around $1.3 million. We looked at Southington, was pretty similar, which was right around $700,000. Middletown was in the same boat. So, quantitatively, it looks like most of the tracks going out right now, they're going with the asphalt, are right around a little shy of $1 million. If you start going to the post-tension concrete, which has a longer life cycle, which comes with a different approach where you have to have it requoted every so many years, we're looking at $1.3 million, and I believe that was back in 2013, 2023, 2024, and I would imagine prices have escalated. And back at that time, only one company had bid on Portland, and both asphalt and post-tension concrete were the same. So kind of when it was brought back to you guys was to vet that our price was not outlandish, asking for $1 million to be bonded to replace the high school track that was originally poured in 1995, 1996 for right around $565,000. So what's happened over the years, it's had a bunch of different things done to it. Some resurfacing, it's had an overspray. We redid the jumping pits and the jumping pits and the long jump. That was probably 5 or 6 years ago now, and it's just reached the end of its cycle. So I guess what we're coming to you guys for tonight is permission to go back to town council with your authority and approval to have $25,000 approved for design services to come up with the best type of track surface that's going to serve the community for the next 30 years, hopefully as long as the first track did that was poured in 1995.
That was clear.
That was very clear.
Thank you.
So,
You're welcome.
So I make a motion that they go back to town council and get the approval for the hire an outside consultant to do the design.
Need to do the life cycle analysis.
Yeah, in a design, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna get a design as part of it.
Yeah, we would hopefully they'd be able to do some geo borings and stuff like that, because what we're hoping to find out is, yes, we do have some delamination that's going on the track in hundreds of places right now. You could see all the little fingerling cracks in there. What we're hoping is that it comes out that the subsurface is okay and we can just mill to base. And then this project will come in at $500,000 instead of $1.3 million. And we wouldn't go down the road of post-tension concrete if we were just milling to base, because there's no reason to disturb the base if it's structurally sound.
What you're saying makes 100% sense.
Yeah.
And I think we really just get the consultant on board and let's start moving forward with it. Everyone agree?
Yeah.
Yes.
All in favor?
John made a motion.
Second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay.
Thanks, Woody.
Thank you, gentlemen. I'm just going to hide in the background.
He's done under that field.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's in my home now.
Oh, yeah. The base was failing. Yeah. So it was 1.3 million.
What do we got?
Community center.
That would be part of the
Steep grant.
grant. We're gonna need most likely A&E services when we see the contract language. Do you want to tee it up? Anybody you want to recommend? Do you want us to solicit proposals off our short list of on-call architects? We're gonna need MEP and A&E put a bid package together for the mechanicals we're anticipating due to the grant language.
Well, if that's what it's gonna take, I mean, we're gonna have to follow that, so.
We could bring it back to the next meeting, or we can try to get some proposals for review next meeting.
What's the speed of this?
My understanding in the grant, we'll have some time. I didn't see the sunset date, but I think we'll have some time. So I don't know if time is of the essence yet. But we're gonna, I think we need that to go out to bid. I don't know if they're gonna allow us to use state contractors directly. So I think we're gonna have to put it on the street, so.
Okay.
We'll need some A&E with MEP.
So, I guess whatever you can come back with next month, it would be a rush to get it all done in 1 month, so. Let's take it
We'll know
2
more
steps,
when the grant language, we'll keep you briefed.
and then
Keep it on the
right
agenda.
after that, it should take a month. That would be my recommendation. Okay? Willard School parking lot.
Yes, sir. All right, so finally got my act together on this.
Thank God.
Partially. So took out the expansion, it's now limited to just mill to base, the existing paved areas, which is the lower lot here, the regular lot, and the staff lot. The numbers I gave you last time are actually gonna drop because the paver gave me $130,000 a proposal that included the expansion and process to fill it and all that. We're gonna do that next time with Bart's recommendations on how to get more parking. So the reason we wanted to go out here was to get more parking, because it's short parking. So the next phase will be the upper lot, and then Bart had some great ideas
Stick it
about.
up for Bart.
Yeah, there's a lot of grass, there could be some pavement that has stripes for pavement, so.
Woody's still on.
Oh.
I don't know if he's listening.
Yeah.
If he wants to know.
Okay, so if it's okay with you, and the reason it came to you, I think, was because it had a $400,000 placeholder fee. And the town council looked at it and said, you know what, run this by the PBC. So,
Okay.
and the specs will be to state bid specs, and the contractor's on the state bid list. So as far as specifications, we're gonna be using the state of Connecticut specifications for this, so I don't need to write any.
Good.
Right? So if it's
Not that
okay.
you're not a good author.
Yeah, so if it's okay with you, the way I can move forward is if you could approve me going to town council for a fee not to exceed $200,000 to do this whole thing. And that includes the lights, the conduits, and the milling and the handholds.
So,
that,
The only thing I would add is call this phase 1, phase 2. So we know it's a total project.
okay,
So and call it phase 1. So we'll approve phase 1 tonight, right?
all right,
well, we're
sounds
not
good.
gonna monitor this, you guys are, right? I mean, you're bringing this back to the PBC
It
for
was
administration of
never
funds, or-
officially referred.
Yeah, it was just sort
Yeah.
of,
I didn't have to
just
do a
seemed-
statement of need,
yeah,
but
okay.
it's needed. So, how about that? It's shot.
No,
Yeah, so I think it was more the council wanted to, and they're gonna be
Just
happy,
advise.
it went from 400 to 200.
just
And
wanted
it's
to
probably gonna be
find
below
what's
200, and what I'm gonna do is get a proposal that will be actually an actual proposal with the town council agenda item, so they'll have,
Yeah.
hard numbers on all
Something to
this
look
stuff, not just like my little, shopping list here.
Do you get any extra spaces with the
No,
Nothing.
no, I
So-
mean, we could look at it, but it's so, I mean,
Thinner stripes?
with that crowd, I think you want to leave it the way it is. It's, yeah. I've been in there,
Yeah.
It's not actually that, these aren't Costco spaces here anyway.
No.
I think they're 9.
So I make a motion that we approve not to exceed
200.
$200,000 for the phase 1 of the Willard School parking lot
All right.
upgrade.
Do I have a
Okay.
second?
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Actually, maybe we'll get it done this
I
summer.
was just gonna say,
Well, I'm shooting for it, and, we'll do what we can. The contractor who's doing our road work is the contractor who gave us the quote and will give us the updated quote. So we can trickle him in and try to get him in before school starts. What? No, it's Colosso. Yeah. So, well, no, Andy will be involved with running conduit and all that stuff, but that's a separate, that's part of the prep. Yeah, and the lights and all that, so Doug and all.
Good night, Ashley, thanks.
All right,
Okay.
thanks,
I'd
Ashley.
love to stay, but you know.
You can.
For another night.
Timberland roof and window replacement update.
Just, yeah, from the site walk, just looking for some direction or guidance or recommendations on, do you want to put a bid package together for that or go direct to a contractor for the re-roofing? Based on what everybody saw.
Well, and I don't remember where I read this, it sounds like somebody was recommending that they continue to patch it, and this would be a project for next year to go into the budget capital plan, or it's like tricking my eyes.
Yeah, no current funding, for, follow the process.
Okay.
How do we want to approach this, put in the budget,
I think I would just recommend developing a scope.
Yeah.
And then, have an architect review it, and then let's get it up. And then get it in the budget for next year.
Somebody's got to have an idea. And it's not going to be a fancy metal roof, just a metal roof, and it doesn't need, I don't think it, but you know what? That's right.
See where I'm going?
Yeah, I do. No, we're not in adjournment yet. You can speak up later.
Your record is safe.
Tired.
74.
16. Next is Sage Park lighting upgrade, phase 1. We approved that last meeting.
Yeah, Eversource has a project, we're waiting for their approval to release the SNIDLs. Musco's been out to review the SNIDLs and all their specs, verified diameters, the brackets, before everything's released. We're still on target for fall this year.
Excellent. So moving along, good.
So light at the end of the tunnel.
Oh, you just forfeited your right to say. That was terrible. New business. I think we have plenty.
Yes.
Old business. Patterson Way site status.
Yes. Right now, Cole is working through QA&M to update the property boundary survey, the topo survey, and the utility survey, and do some additional wetland flagging so that along that back access road, he's going to go out that way. And I would like permission to open a purchase order so we get a QA&M officially engaged and proceeding. Tom O'Carey is fine with this and his partner, so they're good. And
Need a motion to approve a purchase order.
Make a
for Mr.
motion
Ahern.
to issue a purchase order to
QA&M
to handle the survey, the wetland additional flagging.
Additional due diligence.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, you got it.
Okay. Second request was for borings, geotechnical borings.
Yes.
That wasn't in it?
I thought that was in there.
This is my
And we never
point.
did
Well,
borings
right now,
before?
this is a question. Additional due diligence includes everything, Tom. That's why
Yes.
What do you
we're
mean?
gonna have that in the minutes,
So
okay?
there's, like the
Thank
property
you.
boundary survey.
So we're
changed
all
from
approved.
last
No,
time?
but what happened was I was thinking of handling this separately. I was asked like get some quotes. So I went to Welty and Connecticut Test Borings. Connecticut Test Borings said they can't handle it. Their workload is whatever. And
They're
Max
too busy?
Welty, yeah, he called me. He goes, I'm sorry, I'd love to, but right now,
He's doing what?
I don't know. And then Max Welty's been
He doesn't
ghosting me.
work very
So I have to, so right now,
Is there anybody else?
I'd like permission to wrap that into Cole's work because they
Yeah, I
dealt
agree.
with Welty. How about that? Is that
I
okay
agree.
with you?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. That way it's seamless and I don't have to.
We already made the approval.
Right,
Yes.
okay.
Now
Permission?
it's official.
All right,
Brilliant.
all right. Third or fourth request. There was a request for a phase 1 environmental site assessment. So I did get a quote for that for $3,200 from GeoQuest, who did a bunch of other work. They did some stuff on the Kensington Fire sliver in there, and I think they did something. Oh, they did the Vesta phase 1 as well, which I reviewed. So that's, I think, more related to the YMCA's due diligence and their sort of approach. But I think it can't hurt, and we have money, and it would probably have been done as part of a design build
Oh, yeah.
prep for the phase.
Done, yeah.
So I asked another firm, I didn't get anything back. This is in the realm, and Mahoney gave me some numbers. This is actually a reasonable fee for that size. So if you would approve GeoQuest for $3,200 to do a phase 1, we can get that roll.
It should be like 2,500.
Oh, come on, Tom.
You're always haggling.
You know he's in the business, right? That's if you did it? You're so
No,
efficient?
I probably still get $3,200.
Yeah, but
If I want to, if it's worth paying an aggravation.
$700 to print it.
Get
Otherwise,
his
you tell a
own postal digger.
I need a motion.
Okay.
I can't make a motion, otherwise.
I like the guys, I like Mark Kasler, but.
Would you like to make a motion to
No,
approve
I'm gonna make a motion.
$3,200?
I'll second it, I'm not gonna make a motion.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Berlin High School closeout. Nothing to report?
Nothing.
Good.
We're done, right?
No.
No.
You're not allowed to do the adjournment, Steve.
I'm not
You
doing
have to request an adjournment.
Well, you
Yeah,
did push number 4.
yeah,
down to
yeah.
the bottom.
Crap.
Somebody's paying
Oh.
attention here. I'll make the motion, but.
We gotta get four
Oh,
done.
that's right.
Well, he never joins us.
Okay, well,
He's not
I-
here.
Still have to talk.
yeah, no, I think, well, we have enough information, I think, right? Yeah, so, number one, the contingency just left is $17,100, whatever, right, from Kevin, in the PD project. That's all that's left.
Yep.
If you saw the email from Brian recommending that the thing get vertically raised, and so essentially it was like, I don't know, how much was the whole change order? 30,000?
19,000.
$35,000. But that included the site work and stuff, which was way high. So everyone agrees, get the air handling unit up and put a fence around it. So you add all that up, it's $92.90 for the AHU. Fencing is just under $5,000. You add that up, you add all the MDI markups in their supervision, which I think we could probably lower their supervision because they have 16 hours, but if we take out the site work, so we can let Brian beat them up a little bit. It's 16,500.
I make a recommendation, we do it.
Okay, now, we're gonna have to get a change order so that Tom can sign it, right? Okay,
Yeah, they have it teed up.
so do we, I guess, the group makes the approval to have you sign it without a meeting. I think that's what we need, that way we can get it
No, we'll
rolling.
just get the motion and approve it. Approve the,
Oh,
They'll come through and pay it out.
yeah,
oh, okay, all right.
yeah, so make a motion, we approve 16,573 and 80 cents.
I'm out at a maximum of that.
A maximum of that,
'Cause it could be, yeah,
to raise the air handling unit at the police station.
right.
Fencing on PCO.
Yeah, 19. Yeah, PCO 19.
When do you need me to sign that?
Well, I know, the way they talk about, we're just gonna run it through like a bill.
Okay,
All
so
right.
I don't have to sign it,
No.
because I'm gonna be away
You
for
won't
a
sign
week.
it, yeah. You'll have to sign something at some point.
I'll sign it when I come back, or Jason can sign for
okay.
me.
Maybe next year when it comes out.
All in favor? Aye.
Right.
Anybody
And the
opposed?
only question I have for you, did you see well, actually two questions. The interior insulation is closed cell. Did you see that
I
email?
saw that, yep.
And then
Perfect.
he said 18, I think you wanted 3 feet. Are you okay with 1.5 feet? With stone underneath, not grass.
Yeah, it's fine. Lines it gets off the ground.
Yeah,
You gotta get up in the air.
well, it won't be grass and topsoil there underneath.
That's
And I
fine.
think it's gonna be, so 18 foot and a half, you
Yeah.
good with that?
Yeah.
All right.
And just, when we adjourn, just wanted everyone stick around for just a minute.
Motion to adjourn.
There was one more invoice. I know I'm being stupid about it.
I forgot it. Sorry. I'll have to be next month. When he comes and does the squares, I'll do the invoice. Am I, You're okay with that?
I'm with you. I make a motion, we adjourn?
Steve already did.
Oh, second.
Aye.
Aye.
I'm gonna hold his feet to the fire because they're
That's
slow every time. And I'm not the nice guy everybody thinks I am.
You're a nice guy.
He torments me all the time about how long the meetings are.